women's chip to play in the sexual market is what? What do you want? So to want is to lack, right? To want is to lack.
Sure.
Right? So what do men lack? Sexual opportunity, right? So what is their chip to play to get it? Commitment, baby. Stability and commitment. I'm going to play this chip and I'm going to be getting sexual opportunity. Women, what is our chip? Sex and beauty, right? We got sex. What do we want? Commitment and stability. So these are our chips, right? And I think naive negotiators will try and negotiate and start with what they want, right? And so that's why you'll never see men trying to negotiate and trying to offer up sexual opportunity for commitment. And you'll rarely see women offering the opposite. So when I'm dating a man, yes, am I saying like, oh, women just want to be hit on right off the bat and whatever? No, I'm not saying that. But I'm saying if a man is too afraid to flirt and push that boundary a little bit and have that sexual, fun, playful energy right off the get, then that tells me that that man is too adverse to risk. And that goes back to negating my attraction circuitry and women wanting a brave man, hunters. That goes back to our physical attraction circuitry. I want a man that's not afraid to take risks. And you playfully reading the room, keyword reading the room, right? And reading my signals and knowing when to escalate and when to pull back, that's very erotic for me. But a man that plays it safe, a man that plays not to lose, is not going to turn me on as much as a man who plays to win.
And do you think that is what's happening nowadays?
Yes, by and large. And also, listen, I don't blame, women make it very hard. Women, and especially from the MeToo movement, I think the MeToo movement, by the way, was a great movement. I myself feel much safer walking around, and I think that we need to, again, going back to what I was saying earlier, we need to acknowledge the reality that women had to go through for a while. Do I think it went a little overboard? Yes. But I also think that men fall prey to perfectionism. And what happens is that perfectionism makes you fall victim to black and white thinking. So women don't want to be approached. Okay, I'm never going to talk to women again, right? Women are afraid of men. Okay, I'm never going to, I'm tapped out, right? Women want equality. Okay, I'm just going to treat them equal and make them pay for everything. Like, it's like this overcorrection that's like, no, come back. You're one of the good ones. Just help motivate the other ones that might not be so good. But your masculine energy is still welcome here. Just making sure that it's reading the room, reading signals. And the other thing, too, is men are so afraid to read signals and read the room because the only room that they're in is their house, where they're not around anyone else. The more you interact with other people, the more we are going to learn social cues, signals. And I'm not just talking about with women. It bleeds into everything. The men that are so afraid to talk to women, to escalate on women, they're typically the ones that aren't around people to begin with. Again, it's the isolated lifestyle that's killing you guys. Women, we're still doing things. We're still out. Because we have our friends. We have emotional connections outside of our romantic partnerships. Men, what I'm seeing is men after men wanting the same thing, friendship, but y'all just won't talk to each other. And I'm sorry, I cannot get on the camp of, well, that's men and men just can't do that. Yes, they can. Again, go back to see men going back to war, men playing on a same football team, kickball team, things that they're actually vulnerable because they could be bad at it. They could fall, they could trip, they could do, whatever. Like, for example, I one wheel. It's a weird hobby of mine. I love it. It's the little electronic skateboard, right, with a little thing. And there's festivals, and it's great. It's a great community. I love talking about it. I love being a part of it, right? But that's one hobby or community that I see a lot of men, I love you, man, talking about real things, talking about their problems, talking about, I sit with them, and of course I'm the only girl. They're talking about these ideas, and they're talking about projects, and I'm like, this is beautiful. Another scene that I've noticed that in is music festivals, right? Because that kind of culture also breeds that vulnerability, right? Especially because psychedelics are involved typically. So, and also, MDMA and things like that, right? Not promoting drug use, but it is what it is. I've seen more men hug it out and be like, I fucking love you, dude. I've never seen that in very many other communities. So again, if you want male connection and deeper connection, so you're not so reliant and needy, the thing that turns women off on women, do something that's vulnerable with other men. And naturally, it'll create conversation that more deep than just fucking football. You know what I mean? And this I truly believe is one giant step. Is it going to save everything? Of course not. But it's one step in the right direction for dating.
No, I'm glad that you mentioned the MeToo movement because I've been saying this quite a bit and got in trouble a couple of times for saying this, that it needed to happen. But to me, it's one of the worst things that happened for young men in my mind. In what sense? There's this psychologist from the, I think, 50s or 60s, Alfred Adler. He had the theory of life lies. Lies we tell ourselves to justify our behavior. Like, well, if I were smarter, I could make more money, right? But since I'm not smarter, that's why I'm not making enough money. The same thing with the Me Too movement. It's like, I'm afraid to approach because when I'm about to approach, I feel like that 12-year-old kid or 15-year-old kid that was rejected, right? So I'm going to say that I don't want to come across as a creeper. I don't want to be accused of sexual harassment. So I'm telling myself already that lie that because of the Me Too, every man that approaches a woman is going to be labeled as that. When in reality, that is such a perfect lie for men to tell themselves and also to tell society that women understand, yeah, I see why he's not approaching other women because of the Me Too. But in reality, if you're worried to be, if you're afraid to be seen as a creeper, you're not a creeper. Creepers are not afraid. They're just
because they
creepers.
can read a room.
Exactly. So to me, it's like if you stop telling yourself that you might be rejected, sure, because you're coming across with a lot of anxiety, which is normal. Mm-hmm. But what you need to understand is like the lie that you're telling yourself is not true. The story you're telling yourself that you are going to be seen as a creeper or you're going to be seen as somebody who's trying to sexually harass somebody is not true. So even though I agree that Me Too movement needed to happen, a lot of victims, I do agree with that. As a byproduct, it affected a lot of men because it created the perfect life for them not to approach women.
But another way of looking at it is you're projecting your own traumas and blaming women for taking a stand for ourselves, and therefore you're no longer taking a stand for yourself. So like, for example, what happened to you as a kid, being bullied and whatnot, fear of rejection, right? I empathize with that. I too was there. And it is tough. But as a group of women where we have been treated X amount, what would you have done in replacement of that? It had to have happened this way. I think, again, the problem lies in the overcorrection. The other thing, too, is flood the data. If you approached one girl and it went bad, that's 100% of your data points going, well, doesn't work. She was mean to me. But I've worked with some of the best pickup artists in the world. Like, they have tons of data. So all of a sudden, it doesn't seem so black and white. And let me tell you something, another thing too. I used to go door to door for a living, right? Like I said earlier. And something I learned is so true. And what is approaching if not knocking on someone's door? Let me tell you. 10-80-10 rule. 10% of people will be bitchy. Yep. Sorry, that's the way it works. But that's just 10%. Loud minority when it comes to the internet, right? Mm-hmm. But the 10%, And of course, people who love to exacerbate their problems, especially when it's a negative, right? She might have been mean. Oh, she was a fucking bitch. You know what I mean? Right? Because it makes for a better story. Yeah. But men cling on to those stories, but it was never happened to them.
True.
Or maybe it had, again, one time or two times, right? The other thing, so 10% going to be bitchy. The other 10%, those are your low-hanging fruit. Those are the girls that are super fun. They're into you. The ones that are easy, right? Good times. Don't hate on them. They're great. They're necessary. 80% are indifferent. They're not going to do anything. You go up to them. They might just tell them, yeah, I have a boyfriend. Or thank you so much, I'm not interested. The reality is 80 to 90% of the time, you're not going to have a bad reaction. But the internet, and it just makes for a sexier story that also validates their decision to not do the hard thing. What a perfect scapegoat. Oh, she's going to call the cops on me. Oh, she's going to do this. Oh, so by this fantasy, it allows you to do the comfortable thing and not have to do anything? How convenient.
I know. I agree 100%. I'm trying to bring awareness to, it's like, hey, can you probably revisit that story that you've been telling yourself? Can you? Oh,
totally. And reframing everything. Yeah. I'm a huge reframer, right? I'll hear it all of a sudden, guys will just talk negatively about it. I was like, time out, reframe that. right? And then also put on your little speech and debate hat. What makes me creepy? Well, I'm really not that creepy. You know, I'll be good to eject the conversation if she seems uncomfortable. I can read body language that well. Okay, then what's the problem?
What's up, everyone? If you enjoyed that, then press here to watch the full episode and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time.